Before we start off with today's video, if you guys would like to join the Discord server, link will be in the description below and will also be in that pinned comment. If it has been more than 7 days, please use the latest videos, that's one of the links will be working. And of course, I would love to have you on this channel as well, so make sure to subscribe with that bell on so you don't miss any of the videos, shorts and community section posts. But anyway, other than that, let's get right into today's video. Alright guys, just a small quick announcement. I have launched another channel called Denayan Short Stuff. Link will be in the description. Basically it is a comedy channel and right now we are on series 1 because we are doing it in series and episodes, and right now it is episode 9 and then next week will be episode 10 and that's it, that series is finished. So if you'd like to join in on the fun, make sure to subscribe with that bell on so you don't miss any of the videos. But if you do that as well as like, comment, view and share, then that would be an absolute ton if you did, and I'd be absolutely grateful if you did. So a big thank you if you do help me and that channel out specifically, and if you don't, then no thank you to you because obviously you didn't do it, you didn't want to. But anyway, we are here to review the Renault Kadjar. What a name, Kadjar. This is a small SUV of sorts that's basically, it rivals the Nissan Qashqai and other cars, but it's actually related to the Nissan Qashqai because Renault and Nissan have an alliance together, as well as Mitsubishi, but they're not in this picture yet with this. So engines, platforms, etc., you know, they're shared, they're similar, all the rest of it. And to be honest, both have equally crazy names, Qashqai and Kadjar. But anyway, let's review the car, see how it fares, and that's basically it. Let's go. Okay, so when it comes to the outside, so this car's been out for a long time now, so obviously there's pre-facelift and there's facelift. So on the pre-facelift it looks like this, and frankly it looks similar to other Renaults like the Megane, and frankly it's not ugly, but it's just fine for what it does really. I mean, I don't see any actual ugly or, you know, look away sort of angles or shapes on the front. The facelift had changed slightly, it was pretty similar, but you know, it's just a bit more modern and just a bit more fancy, should we say? I don't know, but you get the idea of what I'm trying to say. The side profile, well, it's just your classic long, tall crossover SUV sort of deal, isn't it really? I mean, it's fine for what it does. I mean, can't really see any ugly point to it in this picture anyway, so we'll just move on from that. The rear of the pre-facelift, it's fine, it's just crossover SUV stuff. This is all this is really. So lights are fine, and you obviously got your number plate area down below on the black bit of bumper. On the facelift though, it has changed, so the lights are facelifted as well as the bottom bit as well, and then where the number plate goes, that's obviously changed shape. And on this one you got, seems to have some fake exhausts, or at least tips, at least. Either way, naughty Renault. But overall, this car, it literally carries people, it doesn't need to look fancy, and frankly it looks fine. That's all I'm gonna say. When it comes to the inside, so everything seems nicely laid out. So even though the center bits where the gear stick is, even though it isn't like a sports car where you separate, it isn't so low as well. So that means that, you know, the controls for like the infotainment stuff and the climate are raised a bit. The infotainment screen is a little bit on the low side, so you do have to look down, which is a shame. But the actual overall design is, it's simple and it just does what it needs to do, and you've got the air vents on top, and at least they're buttons, you're not done within the screen for the climate control, so thank God for that. When it comes to the performance, so okay, we've got petrol and diesels. So for petrol you got 1.2 with 1 power output, 1.3 with 2 power outputs, and a 1.6 with 1 power output. For diesel you got 1.5 with 2 power outputs, 1.6 and a 1.7 with 1 power output each. Now these are pre-facelift and facelifted engines, so not every version will be on each year specifically of Renault Kadjar. So what we're going to do as usual when this sort of thing happens is take one engine and power output from each fuel or drive system, and then we're just going to look at the specs of that. So for petrol, I've gone for the 1.2 litre inline 4-cylinder with a turbo at give or take 130 horsepower and 151 pound-feet of torque. It was front-wheel drive and it weighed 1,306 kilograms or 1,373 kilograms or in between that. Gearbox was a 6-speed manual, but you could also get an automatic with 6 speeds. 0 to 60 was 9.8 seconds for the manual, and for the automatic it was slightly slower at 10.4. However, both have the same top speed at 119 miles an hour. Now the diesel one I chose was the 1.5 litre inline 4-cylinder with a turbo, 113 horsepower and 192 pound-feet of torque. It was front-wheel drive and it weighed 1,426 kilograms or 1,443 kilograms, meeting in the middle, depending on trim and all that. Gearbox was a 6-speed manual, but you could also get a 7-speed automatic. So 0 to 60 is 11.3 seconds, but the automatic is slightly faster at 11.1. Top speed for the man is 120, but for the auto it is 117 miles an hour. So you got a nice engine range for you to choose from. When it comes to practicality, so the boot is 472 litres big, and that is pretty big for this class of car. It's actually bigger than its relative and rival, the Nissan Qashqai. So if you want practicality in boot wise, then this is the option over the Qashqai. And it's a nice square shape, it's wide, it's deep, and all the rest of it. So that's good. Rear seats on the other hand, so legroom was actually pretty decent, so I have no complaints there, and pretty much no one else should have complaints unless they're like the tallest of tallest people, basically. Headroom on the other hand was a little bit tight. I say a little bit because it was a little bit. It wasn't extremely tight. It's just people over 6 foot, they may have a slight problem there. But overall, it should be fine for your passengers, and even kids on the school run, they should be fine and they shouldn't be complaining anyway. So overall, it's fine, but just that slight deterioration of the headroom. When it comes to the handling and the comfort, so this is a mixed bag really, because for both of them, because reviews I read, someone says this, someone says that. It's like, which is it? So I'm just gonna have to go with what I think, guess, know of. I don't know much, but anyway. So comfort, so it was pretty decent. Obviously, you would feel the harsh bumps, and also ride on the 19-inch rims, or alloy should I say, was a bit more fidgety because obviously they were bigger. So that is something to take note of if you're buying one of these cars. But overall, they shouldn't be too bad when it comes to comfort. You will feel some bumps in the road, and even if there aren't any, you might feel slightly something, but it won't be too bad. Handling on the other hand, so I've read that when you go through the corners, there's some body lean, which is to be expected. The steering was precise, but it didn't really give much feedback, and you could go through a corner and it would hold its own without crying or falling over. But if you did push it, then then that's you pushing it really, and it would obviously act different to when you're not pushing it. But then again, it's not a car you're gonna push. So overall, it's a mixed bag really. If you want a real review on it, well, reviews, because people think differently, it's really up to that. Or you can go to test drive it, obviously depending on the spec. So obviously the alloy size and where you live, whether your roads have been tarmacked recently, or if you live in London with bumps and humps and cracks every single centimetre of the road. It's a different scenario basically, but I hope you understand the point here. Is there anything else worth noting? There is, and this kind of ties into the performance and the handling section, which is on certain diesels you could get a 4-wheel drive system. Now I believe on the facelift it was the 1.7, and on the pre-facelift it was the 1.6 maybe. I know definitely 1.7 for facelift, I know that, and I think they were top of the range areas where you can get that 4-wheel drive system. What it was basically it would be front wheel drive, but then if the sensors slip anywhere, rear wheels will activate. So it's that kind of system basically. So if you did want the ability to go off-road, or if you're in a country that rains more than England, or you just have muddy roads, then you have a four-wheel drive option for you, but you do have to get a diesel with it and not a petrol, because petrol doesn't come with it as far as I've read and I'm concerned. So what is the verdict? So the pros are, the exterior is pretty decent enough for my liking, so is the interior. The boot size is good, it has a plentiful choice of engines really. The rear legroom was pretty decent, adequate, good, whatever word you want to use. I know there's quite a bit of difference between those words, and I apologise for that. The handling was, it was honest enough, to say the least. That's really all you can really put for that. And there was an option of four-wheel drive if you wanted it, which is why I put in brackets, because obviously not everyone wants it, not everyone needs it. It's just if you really opt for it, really, basically. However, the cons are, the headroom was slightly tight, so it's not the worst, but it's still there unfortunately. And the ride was slightly rough on the 19-inch alloys, and maybe it's just the slightest on the smaller wheels, but you wouldn't feel too much there. But anyway, that does conclude my review of the Renault Qashqai. Sorry, I mean the Nissan Kadjar. Sorry, I mean the Renault Kadjar. Sorry. If you want me to review a car, you can let me know in the comments below, and even in the Discord server, because there is a place where we discuss my YouTube channels, which I have many. But other than that, I will see you guys in next week's video. So I'll see you then. Thanks for watching. Peace.